First of all, I'm here in the presence of Lora Lavigne. Hey guys, I'm Jalen Jones. Lora Lavigne, you got a big promotion. That's what we're here for. What's going on with you?
Yeah, a lot going on in life. 2026 starting off great.
Yes.
Just named weekday morning anchor, Monday through Friday.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm so excited. This comes after working on the weekends for the past 3 years as the weekend morning anchor.
Yes.
And as you know, I started here at WRAL in 2020 during the height of a global pandemic
Yes.
as a multimedia journalist, where I was shooting, writing, editing all of my own stories, lugging around, equipment all across Durham. But I had the opportunity to learn, the area, make connections with so many people, tell great stories, and just kind of grow from there. I was promoted from Durham multimedia journalist to full-time morning reporter 2 years after that, and I did mornings weekday Monday through Friday before I got the opportunity to do weekends, and now I'm here today.
I remember. So I started in 2022. I remember you in your Durham era.
Yes.
And with your Durham era, and then you just seeing you on the weekends and grow and expound, and your storytelling is always just clean, it's precise. I love it. Really watching you grow, it's been an honor, and also again, just one of the reasons why we have one of the best teams,
Yeah.
in the planet. Talk about what is some of your toughest assignments
Mm.
that you've had to do, and any new challenges you're hoping to embrace now that you're on air.
Yeah, I would have to say one of my toughest assignments kind of aligns with when you were asking me. One of my most memorable stories was actually during the height of the global pandemic. We were
Yes.
telling really a lot of difficult stories because we were dealing with, at the time, that something that was completely unknown. And I remember I had the opportunity to interview a pregnant woman who was diagnosed with COVID, and she was at the end of her pregnancy. Because she was so high risk, she was hospitalized for several months. I think it was along like 5 months,
Oh
where they
Lord.
had to, initially do an early birth for her. And it was a scary time because at that point, again, a lot of people didn't know a lot about COVID. We knew that a pregnant woman would be at high risk, but I was able to talk to her once, things improved, told her story, and then there were so many other mothers in our communities who had similar situations, and it was an opportunity to get a lot of questions asked or answered, that is. And she was so grateful for the opportunity because she was able to get long-term care and help just from her story being told. And that's the kind of something that just stuck with me, because you go into some of these situations thinking, okay, here's a story. We're going to present the story, inform our viewers, but to continue to be able to follow up with this person and continue to make an impact on other people through education. I think that was something that really stuck with me. And it was tough because at the time she was dealing with a lot of health issues, and then financially dealing with the hospital bills. She couldn't work because she had been, hospitalized with a newborn baby. So that's something that definitely stuck with me. Another tough situation that I think some of our viewers might remember, I think it was in 2023, I was asked to fill in on the night shift for what was going to be, I think, a couple of weeks. We were going through a transition at that time with reporters, and I was assigned to cover, I think Durham City Council had just voted on removing defund the police. That was kind of sketched outside of the police department. That, of course, was during the height of nationwide protests, and it stayed there for quite some time. They voted to kind of remove it. So ironically, I was telling a story about what people thought about that, and also just the overall kind of violence that we were seeing in the community, gun violence. And we went to a community to get interviews. Everything was going well, but upon arrival, the woman who I was interviewing, she said, "Hey, Laura, I just want to let you know, we did have 3 drive-by shootings in the past past week here in our community." And I was like, okay, good to know. So kind of took that information, told my photographer, let's get this interview, make sure, we tell this story, and head back to the bureau so we can put it together. Basically, we're not going to spend too much time.
Getting the job done.
Yeah. And the first interview went fine, but then more people started approaching us wanting to, get interviewed about just what they were seeing in the community. And I didn't want to turn anybody down at the time. So I continued to do, and it was in my third interview with someone where the first woman came out and she said, "Hey, Laura, they're shooting. We need you to leave." And we heard kind of in the backdrop some of the shots being fired. But it was kind of like in that moment, you're kind of frozen in place, right? Because here we are talking about gun violence and solutions that people want to see to be addressed, by the city and even state leaders. And I remember we were kind of in the middle of that, what people in our community were dealing with at the time. And so essentially we hurried up, got in the car, drove through. But at that point, we see Durham police rushing. We saw children running from playgrounds. It was just like caught in the crossfire of, shots being fired. Yeah. And it was a scary situation. And we did decide to continue going on air after that and reported on what happened. But to be someone who, is reporting on things happening in the community, be caught in it, obviously that is something that is going to stick with me forever. And I just made it a point to keep the focus on the people who live in that community and what they experience, right? Because obviously it was an unfortunate situation for us, but, it was like, this is what we're talking about, So that was pretty tough. I had to take a few weeks off work from that because I think I had like a post-traumatic response to it. In the moment, I was ready to go. I'm like, yes, I can keep working. Let's, push through. And then going home, I remember just reflecting on that and not feeling, okay. So I took a few weeks off, came back, and it was actually not too long, maybe a few months after that situation where I was promoted to morning reporter and being able to do just live reporting for the most part, all morning long. I think that's where I really began to thrive even more from there.
Well, you know what? You've come a long way. And, wow, I didn't know that story. I wasn't here. So that was very heartwarming. And also the fact of, we'll talk about the pregnant lady as well. Really, COVID was so weird because we didn't know when it was, what it was, how it was going to do. So I can imagine the fear and also the story with the drive-by shootings dealing with fear. I think a lot of people don't realize like how scary this job can be sometimes. And you guys are really on the front lines with this. How do you want to be on the front lines now that you're on Anchor full time? What are the type of stories you want to tell with this?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I am someone, because I've been able to dabble and have experience doing everything from digital to shooting my own video, writing my own stories. That experience, I think, has got me to the position I am today where, I'm not going to be a traditional anchor. I'm going to be, one who is involved in every step of this storytelling process, whether it's, working with new reporters, helping them, learn the viewing area or even give them tips or connections or people who should be interviewed for certain stuff, but also having the opportunity to expand on some of my storytelling. And you mentioned the type of stories that, I would like to tell. I don't think I really have a niche. I think I'm all about just the stories that matter to the people. So whether it's, something happening in education or at the schools or, someone maybe getting scammed or ripped off. We have our amazing Five on Your Side, franchise that does a lot of great work with that. I think that I connect and resonate with a lot of stories that at the center just put people first.
Well, I cannot wait to hear more of these stories. You're going to be here for a long time. And guys, if you're watching this video, like and subscribe. Stay tuned in the mornings, weekdays, 4:30 a.m., 4 o'clock a.m.
Yes. So my shift will be from 4:30 to 7. I'll be anchoring in the Live Center. So breaking news, we'll have you covered there. And then I'll be joining Ken Smith on the Fox 50 shows from 8 to 10.
All right. Well, guys, you guys know where to find her. And she's going to go, and this is her secret. She doesn't want me to tell. She has McDonald's at her desk. I'm holding her up. That's what she's going to eat. That's her superpower.
I forgot to pack lunch.
No, it's okay. She eats McDonald's every single day. Okay, guys, if you're watching this, like, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy this. And stay tuned for more.